Good day, friends. I hope you're doing really well. I'm just going to check something real quick. All right, I'm making sure that no Bluetooth was connected so you can hear me hopefully well. All right, so I was just thinking about what am I going to talk about today with my people here. And honestly, the thought popped in my head to think about the word procrastination. And I was like, all humans procrastinate. And I'll talk to you about why that gets into denial here in a second. All humans procrastinate because it's something that, gosh, maybe we're feeling inside like it's not going to be pleasant to do, right? So maybe because a task will be boring, maybe because we're afraid. And this is where it gets into our beliefs, which gets us into the denial part of this conversation here, is that, if something feels hard, or like if I try something, I'm not going to be good at it. Or if I get this thing done, it's going to take me a long time and I'm afraid I'll never get it done. You can hear some of the catastrophic thinking involved in this, right? Or from a food perspective, it's like, well, maybe I'll overeat later, so I won't eat like breakfast today. Or I'll take off the edges of, some parts of my lunch or my breakfast or snacks because, again, I might want to eat that later. And we know how eating disorder logic works. There's never a later. It's always, if a disordered eating or eating disorder is in restrict mode, it's like you never get that energy in. If you're more in a kind of a back and forth kind of ping-ponging kind of stage of symptomology, is that like restricting during the day and feels like you're doing a lot of deprivation-driven eating in the afternoon and the evening. And so maybe you end up just even match, get your energy use met. Sometimes it goes a little over, but it corrects a deficit, whatever it's doing, but it doesn't feel good to eat that way. And so they got me into a deeper thought process here as I was, again, thinking about what I was going to share with you all, is procrastination not for everyone. I'm not talking about executive functioning kind of stuff because the task is going to be boring. I'm talking about putting off anything in recovery, whether it's journaling, whether it's grocery shopping, whether it's eating the food, doing the challenge, making the appointment. You need a dietitian, you need to get a counselor, you need to make that medical appointment. And we're procrastinating, but usually what's happening is there's some kind of belief system in there saying that, like, if I do the thing, some other bad thing's going to happen. And so we can find different kinds of ways to justify it. And one of the ways we do that is denial. Denial that, okay, well, I won't a deprivation driven to eat again tonight. I understand what that process is like now. I'll just try to eat a little bit more so that doesn't happen. Or denial that whatever maybe symptomology you're having, then maybe you can Dr. Google it yourself. And maybe you can. Maybe sometimes that works, but sometimes we just need support and we need a bigger picture. Sometimes we know what we need to do, but we kind of stay in denial that it's bad enough for us to do it, whether it's go to treatment or start outpatient treatment or whatever it is. And so I find denial really is about it feels like it's an intolerable conflict inside, intolerable mental, psychological conflict of if I want to go forward, but if I do, then I'll be this. And then the question what would that mean about you then? If you do that, and then you're going to find this is about probably the basic stuff, like feeling lovable, have an agency, afraid that if you start recovery, if you don't do it right, then you'll get in trouble. So it's a safety issue, mentally or emotionally, or maybe physically, whatever. So if you find yourself knowing that you need to make some changes and you're calling it procrastination and you're being hard on yourself, maybe instead reframe this as okay, I'm able to kind of get tasks done over here in this part of my life. So I have the ability, but it's not happening over here. And I often do kind of tell myself that it's not that important, or because I've been getting through it for so long, I can keep on pushing it off essentially. But what happens is, let's say that nothing physically bad happens to you. So for some people, that's not the case. The more they push off the physical parts of recovery, the longer their bodies deprived of healing, and that puts a lot of wear and tear on the body and all its organ systems. So there's that. And, you know, I don't want to go into other details of worse, but let's just say it's just for your quality of life and your purpose. And we keep on putting off things because the environment's kind of supporting what you're doing. Even though if you really are honest with yourself, it's like, well, we're all just surviving this. We're not growing and thriving. So to me, that's the big, you know, physically our body's falling apart. Obviously, it's a tragedy that we want to try to minimize and to heal from, fully heal from if at all possible. But for, you know, in my mind, because improving health really didn't motivate me in recovery. What motivated me was the longer I put off doing what I needed to do, I know that I was, I just couldn't get that time back. And it's not that it's not to like not try because of regret. It's that we do to maximize the time we have. And that's very, very important. So again, we always talk about here on this channel, like, what's our whys? You know, why are we watching these videos and gathering information? And you know, my videos are really about taking action. So I'm teaching a thing, but then I always want to give you something to do, because what's the point of information if it's not applicable, right? So the call to action here is going to be, where am I kind of fooling myself a bit that there's lots more time, that it's not that big a deal, that it doesn't matter, because there are people out there waiting to help you. You're letting them live out their purpose. You get healed. You get to live out yours. And it's going to benefit the people. That's kind of what we're putting off at the end of the day. And once I kind of got my brain wrapped around that, I was willing to feel the hard stuff. And then got really, really hooked on truth. For me, that's one of the most important things in life, is like, what's the truth? All right. I hope this video was helpful. I know it's a little bit different, not direct like hunger, fullness work, whatever. But one of the missions, you know, of the group of dietitians that we do is that we want to help people have a foundation of truth. And it's not just about getting rid of symptoms. You know, it's great to eat from hunger and fullness and be a competent eater and become your own nutrition expert and see your body through the eyes of, again, of truth. And truth is about, you know, obviously compassion. And if you don't see yourself through those lenses, then it's all about, you know, avoiding pain and performance and all that kind of stuff. So all that's really important to us, and helping you understand how your body's responding to stress, you know, fight, flight, freeze, or please, how that's messing up your food intake. But at the end of the day, we also just really, really care about people becoming who they're meant to be. And so we speak on these hard topics because it's necessary, and I want to make sure that you hear it, essentially. So, all right, well, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye for now.